on the short request of Divanyam Prabhu, I've come on board from South Africa to facilitate today's session. I have to admit my connection is not great here, so if I do get interrupted, someone may just have to take over and spontaneously make sure that the evening goes on. And you're hearing me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
All right, okay. So as we traditionally do, let us recite the Mangala Charanam praise, and then we'll continue reading from chapter 6 of the first canto of Bhagavatam. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yadule Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande.
Hare Krishna. I think Prabhuji's connection is gone.
Yes, we can't hear him.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So while waiting for Prabhuji to come back, maybe I can recite. Oh, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you're back. There was a disconnection a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So Sriji Kishori Mataji, maybe you can do that if it's likely to happen again. But let's just see what we can do. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschcha Deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So hopefully you're still with me.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we continue to read chapter 6, entitled The Conversation Between Narada and Vyas. And today we shall be discussing text number 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rupam Bhagavato Yatan Manakantam Suchapaham Apasyan Sahosatataste Vyaklavya Durmano Iva. Word for word translation. Rupam, form, Bhagavata, of the personality of Godhead, Yat, as it is, Tat, that, Manaha, of the mind, Kantam, as it desires, Sucha, Apaham, vanishing, all disparity. Apashyan, without seeing. Sahasa, all of a sudden. Utashte, got up. Vaiklavyat, yat, being perturbed. Durmanaha, having lost the desirable, eva, as it were. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Just want to check. Oh, I lost you all again. You're hearing me?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me share. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, we can see you.
Okay. Just making sure I've got the right verse up on the board. All right. And okay. So we're reading the purport, the translation and purport. The transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. Purport. That the Lord is not formless is experienced by another Muni. But his form is completely different from all forms of our material experience. For the whole duration of our life, we go on seeing different forms in the material world. But none of them is just apt to satisfy the mind. Nor can any one of them vanquish all perturbance of the mind. These are the special features of the transcendental form of the Lord. And one who has once seen that form is not satisfied with anything else. No form in this material world can any longer satisfy the seer. That the Lord is formless or impersonal means that he has nothing like a material form and is not like any material personality. As spiritual beings having eternal relationships with that transcendental form of the Lord, we are life after life searching after the form of the Lord. And we are not satisfied by any other form of material appeasement. Narad Muni got a glimpse of this, but having not seen it again, he became perturbed and stood up all of a sudden to search it out. What we desire life after life was obtained by Narad Muni, and losing sight of him again was certainly a great shock for him. So we had a very, very interesting part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, also very instructive. And in this particular verse, there is some very important instructions from our Vaishnav Siddhanta. So we've been reading how Sri Narad Muni has been describing his previous life to Sri Narada. And we got to this very, very interesting section in the Bhagavatam, where Sri Narada, in his meditation, he got to see the Lord. And when he got to see the Lord, he experienced some symptoms of ecstasy, bhava. Bhava bhakti is a very elevated stage of Krishna consciousness. So he was experiencing this bhava. And in the previous verse, this was particularly confirmed by the different transformations that was being experienced in his body. These are some of the symptoms. But in this verse, we see something very, very interesting, but something very important, very fundamental and foundational to the process of Krishna consciousness. And what is that? We see that after the Lord had given his devotees darshan, and after the devotee, or while the devotee was experiencing this intense feelings of ecstasy on seeing the Lord, what happened? The Lord disappeared. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the living entity is searching lifetime after life to achieve something that can satisfy the living entity. That's ourselves. But we look in the wrong place. And as long as we look for that happiness, that satisfaction in the material, we never ever experience satisfaction. The mind, the nature of the mind, it is very difficult to satisfy the mind. We may think we've satisfied the mind by seeing some particular object that the mind is anchoring for, but after seeing that object, the mind wants something more, more. And in this way, because we search for satisfaction and happiness through the mind, it's never achieved. But in this verse, it is mentioned that when one sees the transcendental form of the Lord, Rupam Bhagavata, then that is the only time we can experience complete satisfaction, a sense of satisfaction that says, this is enough. I don't anchor for anything else. And this verse, Prabhupada gives a very interesting translation to the word sucha apaham. He erases all mental incongruencies. Something is incongruent when they don't match up, they don't meet. And something is congruent when they meet. So on the mental platform, we never get anything that's meeting. Meeting means satisfaction. But when we see the transcendental form of the Lord, that is complete satisfaction. But then the Lord does something very mysterious. Imagine after hankering for some sense of complete satisfaction, we finally achieve it. And then it disappears. And we see this so many times in the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees. It happened to Dhruva Maharaj, it happened with Sri Narada, it happens with the gopis, it happens with so many great personalities. The Lord gives this darshan and then he takes it away. Now someone may wonder, why is this? Actually, there's a very important, very foundational reason why this happens. And I would just like to share with you some extracts from Srila Prabhupada's writings, in which Srila Prabhupada explains this particular point. Are you all with me? You're still hearing?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
can hear you.
Okay, all right. So firstly, I'm going to read something from a transcript lecture of Srila Prabhupada's when he spoke on Mantra 4 of Sri Ishopanishad in Los Angeles on July 9th, 1971. So Prabhupada writes, similarly, to see God, to understand God, you require qualification. But the qualification, what is that qualification? Now this is very interesting. So Prabhupada is explaining here, what is the qualification for us to be eligible to see God, to see Krishna? And Prabhupada says, it is very simple and very cheap. What is that? Lolyam ekam. Simply, you should be mad after God. That's all. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He was mad. He was falling down on the sea. Where is God? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Vipralamba. So if you enhance your eagerness, then you enhance your eagerness one time, 1%, and he's approaching you 10%. So that eagerness, lolium, is very difficult to obtain. Na janma koti shukrite. So this is actually a verse quoted from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It also appears in the Nectar of Devotion. It's a very important verse, and I'll come back, but at this point I'd like to quote this verse. So this verse from Prabhupada is quoting from C.C. Madhya Leela. Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavitamatihi Kriyatam Yadi Kotopi Labhyate Tatralolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janmakoti Shukrite Na Labhyate. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be obtained only by paying one price. That is, intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must first purchase it without delay. So what is that question, dear devotees? For us to obtain Krishna, what is Prabhupada teaching us here? What is the qualification? In one word, who would like to say?
Intense greed, Prabhu.
One word.
Lolium. That's what you said.
The word is
Isn't it lolium, Prabhu?
We can't hear you.
Nothing.
I think we've lost internet connection, so that's why we can't see him. Just be a little patient.
Maybe somebody can message him just in case he hasn't realized that he's lost connection to us.
Yes, I have, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother.
He hasn't seen my messages yet.
Shriji Mataji, maybe you can do some kirtan in the meantime whilst we're waiting. Here he is, he's just joined.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Prabhuji.
Oh, sorry, this connection in South Africa is not very stable. Anyway, I'll just continue because it's such a fundamentally important point. So Srila Prabhupada in this lecture, he goes on to say that the particular qualification one needs to see Krishna is that one needs to have the intense greed to want to see Krishna. That's called lolium. Lolium means transcendental greed. And Prabhupada says, even after many, many births, accumulation of pious activities, we cannot get this greed. But you can have it if you like it. That is the independence we got. If we're actually eager to have Krishna, then we will have it. So this quality of greed is it's called transcendental greed, lolium. It's a very important quality. It's the quality that will attract Krishna's attention. And how do we get this transcendental greed? This is the big question. And we see in the relationship within Krishna and his devotees, this is the fundamental reason that Krishna, he comes in front of the devotees and then he disappears. And that disappearance of the Lord from the devotees is simply to increase that greed, increase that separation. And last time when we spoke, I gave you a simple example of what this greed means. Say, suppose I am desiring one rasagula, and they sell that at the temple shop. So I go to the temple shop to get my rasagula, and I want it. So I ask them, how much is the rasagula? And they say it's 3 pounds. And I look in my pocket and I see I've only got 2 pounds. And then I think to myself, oh, too bad. I don't have enough. Leave it. Leave the rasagula. That is not greed. Greed means I go to the shop and I want the rasagula. And they tell me that the rasagula is 3 pounds. And I see I've only got 2 pounds. And then what do I think? By hook or by crook, I am going to get 3 pounds because I want this rasagula. I must have this rasagula. Nothing's going to stop me from having this rasagula. And I will get this rasagula by hook or crook. So in spiritual life, this quality of lolium is like that. I want Krishna. I want the association of Krishna. I want the service of Radha and Krishna. I am totally unqualified. I'm totally unqualified. I see no hope. There is no scope. But I have this, somehow or other, I keep this hope. Somehow or the other, I will get the mercy of Krishna. I must have the mercy of Krishna. I don't know how I will get it. Maybe I will go find one sadhu, I will serve it. I'll do whatever it takes to get Krishna. That is lolium. And when Krishna is very merciful to us, he will actually give us this quality of lolium. And this is what happened to Narad Muni. He gave him his darshan. He intensified his desire. And then he took him, he removed, he went away. So we see this experience taking place, and we see in one lecture. Would you mind giving me the opportunity to share my screen again, Jyoti Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Done, Prabhuji.
Okay. So in Srila Prabhupada's pastimes in the Lamrita, we read of one very nice incident that took place. So Srila Prabhupada was giving a class to the devotees. I think it was in San Francisco. So after the lecture, Srila Prabhupada would ask for questions. And Prabhupada was very keen that the devotees ask questions. Prabhupada said, one qualification of hearing nicely is that we will always have questions. So Srila Prabhupada asked. So this I'll read from the Lilamrita. One evening after the lecture, when Prabhupada asked for questions and there was none, Govinda Dasi thought, this is my chance. But she hesitated. A question wasn't on the subject of his lecture. And besides, she didn't like to ask questions in public. No question? Srila Prabhupada looked around. Govinda Dasi thought Swamiji seemed disappointed that there were no questions. He had said several times that they should ask questions and clear up any doubts. Again he asked, have you got any questions? Govinda Dasi, well, could you tell us about Lord Chaitanya asking? Prabhupada, Govinda Dasi, asking where is Krishna? Prabhupada, Govinda Dasi, could you tell about Lord Chaitanya asking, where is Krishna and falling in the water? Or would that be not? Prabhupada smiled. Yes, yes, very nice. Your question is very nice. Oh, I am very glad. Lord Chaitanya, he was the greatest symbol of Krishna Bhakti, a devotee of Krishna. So just see from his life, he never said that, I have seen Krishna. Never said, I have seen Krishna. He was mad after Krishna. That is the process of Chaitanya philosophy. This is called viraha. Viraha means separation. Separation. Krishna, you're so good. You're so merciful. You're so nice. But I am so rascal. I am so full of sin that I cannot see you. I have no qualification to see you. So in this way, if one feels the separation of Krishna, Krishna, I want to see you, but I'm so disqualified that I cannot see you. These feelings of separation will make you enriched in Krishna consciousness. Feelings of separation, not that, Krishna, I have seen you, finished, all right. I have understood you, finished, all my business finished. No, perpetually. Think of yourself, I am unfit to see Krishna. That will enrich you in Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed these feelings of separation. This is Radharani separation. When Krishna went from Vrindavan to his place, his father's place, Radharani was feeling in that way, always mad after Krishna. So Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the separation feeling of Radharani. That is the best way of worshipping Krishna, becoming Krishna conscious. So you know that Lord Chaitanya fell in the sea. Krishna, if you are there, Krishna, if you are here. So similarly, the next devotees, Lord Chaitanya's direct disciples, the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they also the same disciplic succession. So they worship Krishna in that separation feeling. There's a nice verse about them. Prabhupada saying, He Radhe Vraja Devi Ke Chalalite E Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Padatale Padhatale Kalindi Vane Kuta Goshantav iti sarvato Rajapure Kedhair Maha Vivalo Vande Rupa Sanatana Ragujago Shri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami. who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan, or are you under the trees on the bank of Yamuna? Where are you? These were the moods in executing Krishna consciousness. These Goswamis also later on, when they were very much mature in devotional service, what were they doing? They were daily in Vrindavan Dham, just like a madman. Krishna, where are you? That is the quality. This is a very nice question. You're still with me? You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, can
Yes,
hear you.
Prabhuji.
Okay, all right. So this is the point, very important point. This is the point of Krishna consciousness. We want to be feeling and experiencing the Lord in a mood of separation, because this is the mood. This is the mood of the devotees of Lord Krishna, the great devotees. So I'll just pause today. Our Sankirtan leader, Divyanand Prabhu, asked me to speak a little bit about tomorrow. I'm sure everyone of you knows that tomorrow is a very significant event in our Vaishnav calendar. It is Bhadra Purnima. It is the full moon night during the month of Bhadra. Normally, yes, it's quite a beautiful and wonderful experience to have a full moon night. But the full moon night within the month of Bhadra has a particular significance. And it is of particular significance because Srila Vyasadeva gave one very important phalashtuti, fruit, in the Bhagavatam. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva makes two very important appeals or calls to action to his readers. And the first appears in the 3rd verse of the 1st canto of the 1st chapter, where he says, Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam shukamukad amrita drapasam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamayalam muhurhaho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. He says, pibata, do relish it, O thoughtful and expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literature. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. So therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. So the first appeal, the first call of action to the readers of Srimad Bhagavatam is pibata, relish, drink this juice, relish this juice. And at the end, he makes his second appeal, his second call for action, which appears at the very end of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 13th verse, where he says, Prau Jam Pornam Masyam Emas Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. He says, Dadati Yo Bhagavatam. In the beginning, he says, Pibhata Bhagavatam Rasamayalam, relish. And here he says, Dadati Yo Bhagavatam. What you must do after you relish? You must gift. You must gift this Bhagavatam. Give us a gift. And he offers a particular phalashtuti, a benediction to those who gift. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, which is tomorrow, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on the golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So after calling upon the readers to relish, he makes a call, because Srila Vyasadeva didn't want only us us, the reader, to relish. He wanted the entire world to relish. So he's providing an incentive. So he says, if you dadati yo Bhagavatam, if you give this Bhagavatam, then I will give you a special benediction. I will make sure that you will attain the supreme transcendental destination in your next life. So this is the significance of tomorrow. This is what the entire Srimad Bhagavatam Bhadra campaign is about. As many of you all know, we're trying to distribute 43,000 sets, which has never ever been done before, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, of Srila Vyasadeva, for the pleasure of the 88,000 sages at Naimisharanya, for the pleasure of Shukdev Goswami. And, we are calling upon all devotees of Srimad Bhagavatam to become involved, to try either to gift, part gift, or to inspire someone else to take a set of Bhagavatam. And in this way, we can all experience this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam Bhadra campaign. And Devyanam Prabhu said that tomorrow the devotees will be offering a Mahayagya, where all those devotees who have participated and contributed towards the Bhadra campaign, their names will be offered in the Mahayagya. There is still time. If you submit your name before 9 o'clock today to Devyanam Prabhu, he will offer it into the Mahayagya. And even if you want to make a contribution towards a set or a part contribution according to your means, please feel free to do that. So I'll stop here. I'm anxious that my connection will break again. But let's see if there's any questions or comments or reflections that anyone has. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vrindavan, Chandra, Prabhu, Dharma, Pranams, Hogesh Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for showing so much commitment. I know you're under, almost personal situation there in South Africa, and you still made time for us. So thank you very much for that. Really, really appreciate it. And for such a nectarian class as well. So thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
I have a question, Prabhuji. So Lolium being the operative quality required to achieve Krishna, to at least approach Krishna. The difference in Lolium between Narad Muni and Dhruva Maharaj is interesting, because Narad Muni had pure Lolium for spiritual purposes, for devotional purposes, whereas Dhruva Maharaj had Lolium for material benediction. Actually, he was looking for material boon of estate bigger than even Lord Brahma's. Yet Lord Krishna appeared in front of Dhruva for longer and helped him to by touching his conch to his head, rid him of his material desires by purifying them. Yet disappeared from Narad Muni's vision altogether and let Narad Muni actually go through a whole kalpa before he became Narad Muni. So Krishna treated the two 5-year-olds quite differently, even though one had a very pure consciousness and desire, whilst the other had a very material focus. What should we learn from that in terms of Krishna's response to those Loliums?
I mean, it's a very nice point you make, and just thinking out very spontaneously. I think my only response would be that it just demonstrates how every relationship with Krishna is very individual and personal. And Krishna will relate and deal with us in different ways to bring out the best of us or to draw us close to him. We just stand and we appreciate it and see. And we develop the sense of confidence that, no matter where I am, if I just somehow or the other just develop this intense desire to serve Krishna, I'll end up in the right place. And I think that's the realization I have. Maybe there are others who have got their own. Maybe you also got your realization that you can share with us, Prabhu, on this particular point.
Mine is very simple, not knowledgeable at all, Prabhuji, but Krishna is free to do as he desires.
Yes.
And his interaction, it's up to him, and it's his will as to how he wishes to reciprocate. And if we're surrendered, we should accept whatever reciprocation he wants to give without questioning. That's my simple realization, Prabhuji. I don't have a more complex one than that.
Okay, that's good. I think I have a similar one. That Krishna is very personal with every living entity, and he will deal with them. And that's just the fact that he does this, even the gopis, he did that, and actually, anyway, it's completely another topic, a very deep subject matter. But Krishna heightens and heightens and heightens, till it comes to the pinnacle. And anyway, it's a very deep subject. Maybe I won't go into the detail, but it's just wonderful how Krishna deals with his devotees to heighten the love, heighten the reciprocation. Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions, comments, or reflections? Let me see if there's anything on the chat box. Some devotees are sometimes shy. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay. Anyone else? Any realizations, reflections?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, another pranams, all glories to you, serving from South Africa as well.
Hare Krishna, Chandra, Chaitanya Prabhu. Nice to hear your transcendental voice again.
No, ma Prabhu, I'm still in this material world, and I was thinking, yes, Krishna would be wonderful to see him and talk to him, but as Prabhupada says, I have no qualification. But the only realization I have, or rather we have, is that we should serve Prabhupada, the pure devotee, as much as we should have the lolium to serve Prabhupada. And Prabhupada will then ensure that Krishna will see us. I don't think I can ever see Krishna like that, unless Prabhupada and my spiritual master says, Tathastu, then it'll happen. So my request is, let's serve Prabhupada, let's serve Prabhupada, let's serve Prabhupada. That's enough.
Perfect, Prabhuji.
Once the
Perfect.
devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, what would please you the most? And actually it was asked by a Sankirtan devotee. And he was expecting Srila Prabhupada to say, it will please you most if we distribute your books. And Prabhupada says something completely different. He said, what will please me most is if you develop your pure love for Krishna. So yeah, we serve Prabhupada, and we also serve Prabhupada by developing our pure love for Krishna, but Prabhupada also helps us to develop. So it's like interdependent. It's a nice realization, Prabhu. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kanta Mataji, did you want to say anything? No?
It's okay, Prabhuji. I just agreed with Prabhuji, what Prabhuji said, So we have to surrender to our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and he will take us to Krishna. Otherwise, we have no other way to do that. We can't straight go to Krishna.
Yeah.
It's only with Prabhupada's mercy. Jasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado.
Yes.
Jasya Prasada Nagati Goti.
True.
So
But Prabhupada also wanted us to endeavor to develop our personal relationship with Krishna. He did definitely want us to do that, to develop our personal relationship with Krishna. We must all be very eager to do that. I imagine, anyway, it's another topic. But thank you. You're correct. And Prabhupada we should serve Prabhupada, and we should also serve Prabhupada's instructions to develop our personal relationship with Krishna. Anything else from anyone? So let's enthusiastically welcome tomorrow's Bhadra Purnima. Let's all meditate on Srila Prabhupada's instruction to us that I want that every respectable family and home have a full set of Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in their homes. And let's meditate on how we can help in our own little way fulfill that desire of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyam bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Praying
Thank
for your
you.
father's health, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Yes,
you, Prabhuji.
Vanita.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.